Yep.
All
I'm here.
right.
Welcome back to the Plimbo Power Hour. Okay,
Yeah, we're just gonna dive on in.
dive on in.
Dive on in. So
Let's
yeah,
get ready. All right.
let's get right into it. Coming off the last episode, I think we had nothing positive to say. Um, not one point, but I want to know, right off the bat, how are you feeling?
Well, so I would like to start where we stopped,
Mhm.
which was we were talking about the power scaling issues, and specifically how weak Mark was relative to the robots, where Mark was fighting bugs, he and Adam Eve could do nothing.
Right.
Cecil, Cecil doesn't
Cecil.
matter. Cecil sends in the robots, and they
Mhm.
just absolutely destroy. Then 5 minutes later, Mark goes to confront Cecil, and then kills like 40 robots without breaking a sweat.
Single-handedly, easy.
So I just don't understand. Are the robots weak? Are the robots strong?
I wrote this down. I very much so enjoyed seeing Mark obliterate the last one. I thought that was
That
cool.
that was perhaps the only time I've ever liked Mark.
Yeah, that guy
Like
just
he was
gets that
so
guy
much
just
better.
that guy just gets like he evaporates.
So the other thing is, so I would like to begin by saying I enjoyed the episode quite a bit. I may have already said that. Now,
Well, way more than the first one. Yeah.
oh, so much more.
Mm.
But I also think Cecil was way out of line, and he brought it upon himself. Like he kept escalating the situation, and I don't understand why. Like Mark comes over to talk to him, and sure he's angry, but realistically, Mark probably isn't gonna actually attack him until Cecil ups the stakes by summoning the robots. I don't get why he brought a gun to a conversation.
I think maybe in Cecil's mind, in defense of him, maybe he's he's seen this before, where somebody goes off the rails. And to be fair, Mark is just kind of screaming the entire time. He just kind of he's very aggressive. He's a very aggressive tone. So I
That's
understand him trying to be a little. He even says he's scaring the shit out of him. So I think he's
so
just afraid.
that's true, but Cecil should be a cooler customer than that. Like, think about the scene that happens later when Omni Man is first
He
appears.
just pulls up.
Yeah, he has no relationship to Omni Man. Omni Man could be anybody.
But you
And
got
Cecil handles the situation well by staying calm and staying cool and not escalating.
I think it's possible though the Omni Man event, him like killing the Guardians of the Globe and everyone else, kind of perhaps makes him more precautious. Uh,
So, while that is true, I still think Cecil brought this upon himself.
the events of this episode specifically, I agree. That being said, I think Cecil also has a point in the things he says, and I even wrote this down. I don't blame him for putting the chip in Mark's head. It is what
No.
it is.
I don't blame him for putting the chip in the head. I do blame him for using it in this particular situation,
Yeah,
especially because he's in the wrong.
it's true. I think
He should he should have told Mark about was it Darkwing?
yeah. I wrote this down. Do we see Darkwing kill people? They just say that, but is that something he actually sees?
Do you remember? I think it was last season when he arrests Darkwing.
Yeah, in like the Dark City or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever actually saw it,
I'm just
but that's
saying
why he went after him. I think.
this guy might be getting racially profiled. Is all I'm saying. I didn't see anything happen.
Fair point. Fair point.
Uh
Mark may be a problematic character.
yeah.
Now, back to Cecil though. I
Mm.
thought that the flashback was cool. I enjoyed that. I thought the whole
Yeah, I wrote something about that. I wrote down Force Fist and Knuckle Buster. I would love to knuckle bust in her. Um
oh, you wrote that down, did you?
yeah, I wrote that down. Uh
Excellent point. I wish I had thought of that one.
funny names. Yeah, they make her very attractive. Anyway, I will say I wrote down this though. Cecil performs an act in that first scene more heroic than anything Mark has done thus far.
That is true. I think, and I don't want to be that guy, you know, with my nerd glasses, being like, oh, that doesn't make any fucking sense, but I'm gonna be that guy. Okay, so how does Cecil survive when he's in the room holding the door back,
but other people
the
died.
people in the market died? Where's the fucking market? How? This doesn't make any damn sense.
Well, to suspend the disbelief a little bit, I guess you could say that those soldiers get to him fast enough, maybe, but they weren't fast enough to contain the leak kind of situation.
So
I don't know.
If this was a different show and I liked it more, I wouldn't have even thought about it. The problem is the show. I'm out here with my pen and paper looking for inconsistencies.
Yeah, no, that's
so I get that it's not fair. I just pointed it out. I didn't love that, and I felt so unnecessary.
I think that's a fair criticism.
Why put it in at all? Anyway,
I think they have to make it be like there was actual stakes. Cecil's a man for the people. Even though he did save a lot of people, he's still upset that he couldn't save a couple.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a cheap shot to make us think Cecil was like Mark. I mean, the whole flashback was like, how is Cecil similar to Mark? Right?
Yeah, like in the past, I suppose.
Yeah, until he grows up and becomes this hardened director that he is today. So, and I don't know. I thought that felt cheap.
That's fair. I mean, let's talk about the flashback a little more. When the Pentagon or whatever is under attack or whatever. I don't know where they are.
Oh, okay.
We see a Lizard League brute. This is like this is like how old is the Lizard League? They seem like they've been around forever, but they get their ass whooped constantly.
You're bringing up a lot of good points, and I think this goes to a point you brought up last week, which is nobody ever deals with them.
They're kind of just
nobody deals with anybody.
It's true. They kind of like they seem to be they're not very proactive in eliminating these threats that they objectively know about.
Can I? What if this is like a private prison situation, and they encourage policy to encourage crime such that they can justify their own existence?
Thinking about it, all these people that work under Cecil, they're probably getting big paychecks. If they take out all these guys, you don't need everybody in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The problem is capitalism. Although I think this is a public company for some reason. Or maybe not. They never really explained. Is this the government? Is this...
He wears like an American flag pin. I think it's the government. They talk about every time he does the little teleport thing, it costs $1 billion or something. I think that was something.
Did they say that?
I think something like that. Maybe I made that up, but I think that might be said.
Okay, interesting. I enjoyed the prison scenes.
Yeah, so I wrote something. I find it hard to believe Cecil gets the prison organized and under control. He says, you have no idea what I had to do to make it this way, which makes me think, was he performing favors in the prison to make it?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was performing favors, but that wasn't what he was torturing people.
He was doing. He had to take a lot of names to make it.
I wish they showed it, because again, this feels cheap that they want us to think he's like crazy and willing to do anything, but aren't actually willing to show any of it and make a decision on what it is.
That's true.
And if they actually showed us doing the things that he needed to do to get in charge, we wouldn't like him anymore. I think. Like,
that's the point. Yeah, that's fair.
But I wish they had. But I don't think he's performing favors.
Just putting it out there. I wanted to talk about something you said last week. The robots, the Reanimen, definitely do not have laser eyes. At the very least, they're not using them.
They don't have any. Yeah. I don't want to get into the reanimate thing again, but
They
I
would
just
be
don't
they
like
would function better as robots, I think.
like, and they're also teleporting around.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Uh,
but I did. Here I wrote down first time I ever liked Mark. I really thought it was cool the scene where he goes to the Guardians for help and they rebel against Cecil.
yeah.
Um, I
Yeah.
do think
Sorry, go ahead.
Rudy 100% put some different shit in his head.
Oh, you think so when he takes it
I
out?
think he took the, yeah, I mean, I think he takes out Cecil's bomb and puts in his own bomb. Because wouldn't you? And what does he say at the end of the episode?
So
Someday I might need something from Mark
so
or something
yeah,
like
and
that.
this was like kind of like the big point which I wanted to talk about. So talking about that Guardian scene.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, after the frequency in his head gets blocked and Mark kind of kills all of them, uh,
Mhm.
I I saw that apparently this is like a 1-to-1 of Nolan murdering all of the original Guardians.
He
The
did.
moves he does to like he
Oh,
blows up the
interesting.
one's head. Apparently, it's I think I read this. It's like a 1-to-1, which is pretty cool. And
I
I think the dark mark is a cool angle. Um,
Oh, I agree.
it
Um,
it seems that at the very least, when he's
is he
being aggressive, he can at least win fights.
that when he's not holding himself back?
Yeah.
But he also doesn't feel like Dark Mark. Maybe he's brutal, but I still think he's in the right morally speaking.
I go back and
You
forth.
disagree?
I I,
Uh,
I kind of I think I feel like I'm more on Team Cecil than you are.
Oh, I'm not on Team Cecil at all. I don't like Cecil. I think
I
I
mean,
don't
what do
know.
you mean? He's doing what he has to do. I don't know.
Is he doing what he has to do? I just
Yeah.
I don't understand why
Well,
what
I put this in here. Trump wouldn't approve of Cecil's DEI hire to the Guardians of the Globe.
I you missed me on that. What was his DI hire?
At the end, he's like, I hope you'd consider Darkwing to join
Oh,
instead
yeah,
of
yeah. You're
instead of tryouts. It's what
oh, fair,
I
fair.
said wouldn't
Trump would
happen
not
in
approve.
today's America. That's what I said. I'm all for it. Let the record be shown. But moving on.
How do you think he's conditioning these? Like, how do you think he's conditioning Darkwood?
I don't know.
Like, how does
You think
he?
he also? I imagine he has put him through severe mental reconstruction. I think he
Yeah.
strapped him to a chair. There are no wars in Ba Sing Se or whatever. Like they got the
Can
lantern.
he do it to Mark?
Uh,
What stops him from
I
from
think
doing it to
Darkwing's an
anybody?
easier guy to restrain than Mark is. So no, I don't think he could do it to Mark.
Do you think there's anything they could do to Mark now? Is he just too strong?
I think he's gonna try.
Yeah, but what? I think. Well, I mean, I think it's clear he's going to turn Mark's brother.
Oh, you think that's what he's gonna try to do?
Oh, 100%. He's gonna brainwash. I don't even know his name. Scott. What's his name?
Uh, Oliver.
Oliver.
Yeah.
100% Oliver.
Um.
The other thing. Okay, and here I have this written down in my notes.
Yeah.
I just don't care about Mark and Adam Eve's relationship at all.
I
Like you
it's
could
it's
cut that
true.
out of the show.
I have a bullet point. Mark and Eve together at end. That's it. There's no other thoughts. That's it. It was like more of a fact that I wrote down.
Yeah, but
I also don't care.
like I'm not rooting for them. Is there like they're? I remember when I was watching the Harley Quinn show. You
Mhm.
watch the show, it's a good show, and they're kind of like in the first couple seasons they're teasing the Harley and Ivy, and you root for them to get together. It's sweet. It's nice. There's no charisma. There's no chemistry. I have no desire to see them get together.
Yeah, it's I mean to be honest, I didn't like the Amber relationship mostly because I didn't like her, and I don't really like this either. But it's more because I have no interest, or like there's like you said, there's just kind of nothing there. But I'm sure they're gonna try to make it matter.
I got the ship has sailed.
Mm,
And this, I think, comes back to Mark just being somewhat fundamentally unlikable.
yeah.
Is, it spills over into his romantic life where he's not even relatable.
So we'll kind of tacking on to that about how Mark is unlikable, and I think for parts of this episode he is likable though. When he's
When he's killing everybody?
yeah.
Oh, okay,
And
that is true.
I
But at some point, he stops killing everybody
right, so I
and
wrote this
becomes
down. I said
unlikable again.
I said Rick, the gay cyborg brings Good Mark back, and then I wrote down
Oh, bad.
can't wait to see him get his ass whooped next episode.
Well, I felt the same way. It was like, oh, well, clearly this was the one fun Mark we're going to see, and he's going to be, an awful fighter again next episode. I hope that's not true.
I think it's going to be true. But I think this though was interesting. I think this was kind of like the main maybe thinking point, and like you have to pick a side. It was when a lot of the Guardians walk out, and I wrote down, I'm more Team Cecil, and I said, well, I think it's a lame reason to leave because of the Cecil thing. On the other hand, if I see what Mark just did to those guys, I'm pissing my pants. I want to be on his side. And I think Rudy says this when he's walking out and he's talking to Black Samson. He's like, he's the strongest guy. I'm gonna just follow him.
Is his name actually Black Samson?
Yeah, that's his name. I did not make that up.
I did not know that.
I hope I didn't make that up. We're gonna run that really quick.
No, you're right.
Thank God. Okay. Yeah. No,
I think that's a good point. I think Rudy is definitely picking his side. I think Rex.
They do it from like an ethical standpoint, but Rudy does it, I think, out of self-preservation.
Yeah, I think he sees the writing on the wall and knows.
Yeah.
You can't have both anymore. And I bet you Cecil at some point goes after them. I think Cecil's the kind of guy where you're on my side or you're my enemy.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I don't think he would. The rest of the Guardians of the Globe are not very threatening either. I mean, to be honest, they lose most of their fights also.
Oh, but as long as Cecil has his seemingly infinite army of robots, he doesn't need anybody else. Which I guess another complaint I have about the army of robots is it feels like they're a get out of jail free card.
They haven't really helped him very much thus far.
Well, they did this season.
I guess that's true. They helped him in the Doc Seismic event, which I still think is ridiculous that it even happened. But sure, yeah.
I guess my point is why do you need the Guardians of the Globe if you can just summon 100?
It's mindless robots that you can have do whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can see it being like objectively better, right? They do whatever he asks them to do instead of.
So I don't know. I feel like Mark deserves the benefit of the doubt, and Cecil's not giving it to him.
It's true. No, I completely agree. But
I was also a little bummed out. No Alan after credit scene.
Yeah, I did. I wrote that down too. I thought you'd be upset about that because that was, like you said, your only favorite part of every episode. So. And
this one was better. Don't get me wrong, but still. Anyway,
I mean, I don't know. So okay, going to the next one. What do you foresee happening? I think it's Cecil time to kill Mark.
I'll be honest. I've watched the first half of it, so I'm not going to.
Oh, you're not going to speculate. Okay.
I'm not going to speculate because I feel like that would be ethically dishonest.
All right. Well, that's what I think is going to happen. Is I think Cecil is going to plan some contingencies, maybe act on killing Mark.
Let me tell you, that would be fucking sick.
That will be cool. I also wrote down I hate the Immortal and Duplicate.
I like the Immortal. I think he's a good foil.
think they're bootlickers.
Yeah, but I feel like he is the foil of Rex.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I also wrote this. Kind of fucked up. He kind of tried to blow up Cecil's hand.
Rex?
Yeah.
Why was that fucked up?
Come on, man.
Hey,
blow up my hand?
If Cecil was torturing you, I would have tried to blow up his hand.
Well, I appreciate that.
I mean, what do you mean? He was trying to save his friend. I do think it was a little dramatic when they were like, the robots are killing him. I'm like, robots aren't gonna kill him.
They're punching him.
Like
he's indestructible.
Fucking fine.
Yeah.
But I guess they didn't know that yet.
That's true. All right. Well, sure,
the only context they had was last episode where the robots were crazy strong. So what do they know? Anyway, all in all, I enjoyed it. I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10.
Wow. For those who don't know, that is higher than he gave the last episode on the Severance podcast, which I find insane. But
honestly, I think I enjoyed this episode more than that episode.
Anyway, listen to the Severance podcast. Yeah, no, 8? What? No. 7. I gave this episode 3 out of 5 Alan the Aliens. That's what I gave this episode.
Then I'm giving the episode 4 out of 5 Allens.
That's
but only 1 out of 5 Cecils, which is a good thing.
I give this episode 5 out of 5 Cecils.
Damn!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're just you're just gonna have to deal with that.
That fucking sucks.
Anyway, I do think.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, we're trending upwards. I have high hopes for the next one. Thanks for tuning in.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.